Okay, folks, I want to welcome you on this beautiful Sunday morning, and I'm going to be reading from my Bible of sorts. This is the first or the 5 books of the former prophets, and I picked this up. I'm not sure if I'm going to put the link down in the description yet or not, but this is my new reading Bible. I'm not going to be quoting the chapters, verse numbers, anything like that. But we're going to start out. I'm going to do a lot of these Bible readings on Sundays from various religions. And I want to thank you guys for joining me. I got my beautiful Filipino wife here checking the audio. And we're on top of this mountain. I call it Mystery Mountain. It's right here in Subic in the Philippines, right outside Barrio Barreto. So I'll tell you about my text I'll be reading from. It's translated out of the original tongues, being the version set forth in, if I say this correctly, Anno Domini, AD, year of our Lord, 1611. The revision, 1885. The American edition, 1901. And then this was newly edited in 2016 to try to update the verbiage and the language that people can understand. How many people read the Bible? Not many, because it's a hard, difficult text to read and understand for most people. So, you know what? I will give a shout out. This is from a company called Biblioteca. I will put the link down in the description. And I sure hope they don't have an issue with me reading from this Bible. But I'm going to tell you, this is a great product if you want to give somebody a gift, if they're, if they're religious by any means. But when let's just go ahead. The contents of this, we got the book of Genesis that I'll be starting from right now. First book of Moses, commonly called Genesis. So here we go, my friends. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth was waste and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God brooded upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening and there was morning one day. And God said, "Let there be a vault in the midst of the waters, and let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the vault, and divided the waters that were under the vault from the waters that were above the vault. And it was so. And God called the vault heavens. And there was evening and there was morning, a second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the heavens be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters he called seas. And God saw that it was good. And God said, "Let the earth put forth grass, herb yielding seed, and fruit tree bearing fruit after its kind, whose seed is within it upon the earth." And it was so. And the earth brought forth grass, herb yielding seed after its kind, and tree bearing fruit, whose seed is within it after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, a third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the vault of the heavens to divide the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and years. And let them be for lights in the vault of the heavens to give light upon the earth." And it was so. And God made the 2 great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. And God set them set them in the vault of the heavens to give light upon the earth, and to rule over the day and over the night, and to divide the light from the darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening and there was morning, a fourth day. And God said, let the waters swarm with the swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth on the face of the vault of the heavens. And God created the great sea monsters and every living creature that moves, with which the waters swarm, after their kind, and every winged bird after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God blessed them, saying, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the waters in the seas, and let birds multiply on the earth. And there was evening and there was morning, a fifth day. And God said, let the earth bring forth living creatures after their kind, cattle and creeping things, and beasts of the earth after their kind. And it was so. And God made the beasts of the earth after their kind, and the cattle after their kind, and everything that creeps upon the ground after its kind. And God saw that it was good. And God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have domination over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over the cattle, and over the earth, and over every creeping thing that creeps upon the earth. And God created the man in his own image. In the image of God he created him. Male and female he created them. And God blessed them. And God said to them, be fruitful and multiply, and fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the heavens, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree, in which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for food, and to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the heavens, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, in which there is breath of life, every green herb for food. And it was so. And God saw everything that he had made, and behold, it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the sixth day. And the heavens and the earth were finished, and all their host. And on the seventh day God finished his work that he had made, and he rested on the seventh day from all his work that he had made. And God blessed the seventh day and hallowed it, because in it he rested from all his work that God had created and made. These are the generations of the heavens and of the earth when they were created. In the day that God made earth and heavens, and no plant of the field was yet on the earth, and no herb of the field had yet sprung up, for God had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground, and a mist went up from the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. Then God formed the man, dust from the ground, and breathed into his nostrils the breath of life, and the man became a living creature. And God planted a garden in Eden, eastward, and there he put the man whom he had formed. And God made to grow out of the ground every tree that is pleasant to the sight and good for food, the tree of life also in the midst of the garden, and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. And a river went out of Eden to water the garden, and from there it was parted and became four heads. The name of the first is Pishon. It is that which compasses the whole land of Havilah, where there is gold, and the gold of that land is good. There is bdellium and the onyx stone. And the name of the second river is Gihon. It is that which compasses the whole land of Cush. And the name of the third river is Hiddekel. It is that which goes east of Assyria, and the fourth river is the Euphrates. And God took the man and put him into the Garden of Eden to till it and to keep it. And God commanded the man, saying, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat of it, for in the day that you eat of it you shall surely die. And God said, it is not good that the man should be alone. I will make him a help as his match. And from the ground God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens, and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creature, that was its name. And the man gave names to all cattle, and to the birds of the heavens, and to every beast of the field. But for man there was not found a help as his match. And God caused a deep sleep to fall upon the man, and he slept. And he took one of his ribs, and closed up the flesh in its stead. And God built the rib that he had taken from the man into a woman, and he brought her to the man. And the man said, this one now, bone of my bones, and flesh of my flesh, this one shall be called woman, for out of man was this one taken. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and he shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. Now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field that God had made. And he said to the woman, yeah, as God said, you shall not eat of any tree of the garden. And the woman said to the serpent, of the fruit of the trees of the garden we may eat, but of the fruit of the tree that is in the midst of the garden, God has said, you shall not eat of it, nor shall you touch it, lest you die. And the serpent said to the woman, you shall not surely die, for God knows that in the day you eat it, then your eyes shall be open, and you shall be as God, knowing good and evil. And when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was a delight to the eyes, and that the tree was to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit of it and ate, and she gave also to her husband with her, and he ate. And the eyes of them both were open, and they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves loincloths. And they heard the voice of God walking in the garden in the cool of the day. And the man and his wife hid themselves from the presence of God among the trees of the garden. And God called to the man and said to him, where are you? And he said, I heard your voice in the garden, and I was afraid, because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told you that you were naked? Have you eaten of the tree of which I commanded you that you should not eat? And the man said, the woman whom you gave to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I ate. And God said to the woman, what is this you have done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I ate. And God said to the serpent, because you have done this, cursed are you above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your seed and her seed. He shall bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. To the woman he said, I will greatly multiply your pain and your conception. In pain you shall bring forth children. And your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over you. And to Adam he said, because you have hearkened to the voice of your wife, and have eaten of the tree of which I commanded you, saying, you shall not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for your sake. In pain shall you eat of it all the days of your life. and thorns and thistles shall it bring forth to you. And you shall eat the herb of the field, in the sweat of your face shall you eat bread, till you return to the ground, for out of it were you taken, for dust you are, and to dust you shall return. Now folks, I want to thank everybody for joining my Filipino wife and I. We've climbed up this mountain this morning. I call it Mystery Mountain. It's here just outside of Barrio Barreto, Subic in the Philippines. There's our view. We've got a nice panoramic view of Subic Bay. And so we're up on top of this mountain. Just figure we'd get a little exercise, have a little adventure today, and just kind of read the gospel from my new reading Bible. And so what you're looking at over here to the far right, that's Subic town. Those towers right in there, that's about where the Subic market is, over that direction. And just pan back around. That's your look at Subic Bay. That's, I believe they call that Snake Island. You come here in the middle of Subic Bay, that's Grande Island, which from a military stance makes Subic Bay so ideal in the past, you know, World War II. If you put armaments on that island, you basically could defend the entire bay from a landmass. Okay, this small island right here, center of the screen, that's where I went snorkeling a few days ago on a video. And they call that Lighthouse Island. I'm not sure the actual name, but there's a little tiny lighthouse. So our guide called that Lighthouse Island. And this little tiny island right there, about the middle of your screen, that's the castle right in front of the Blue Rock Beach Resort. And if you scroll over, that big building right there on the water, that's Central Park Reef, the new hotel in Barrio Barreto. And I'll just give you the full panoramic view. I'll try not to fall off of my perch here. That's kind of shooting into the sun. But we're up here on this mountain at the very top on this concrete slab where a guy and his Filipina, they built a house at some point several years ago, lived up here for a little bit. And these rocks are beautiful. They've somebody's actually painted them white, and so you can see this thing, you can identify this mountain from, I mean, miles away, because it just looks like somebody has a big white dome tent up here, but it's because these rocks are white. And we have a little makeshift shrine here. It's Mother Mary. What my buddy Francis was telling me was that during you know, any of the holidays like Easter, a lot of people come up to the top of this mountain. We'll continue on. Down below we've got everything from a concrete plant to a waste, a dump. Basically that's the dump over there, trash dump. And then you're back looking at Subic town in the Philippines. So thanks for joining us. And the man called his wife's name Eve, for she was the mother of all living. And God made for Adam and for his wife coats of skins, and he clothed them. And God said, Behold, the man has become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now, lest he put forth his hand, and take also from the tree of life, and eat and live forever. And God sent him forth from the garden of Eden, to till the ground from which he was taken. And he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the Garden of Eden the cherubim and the flame of a sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. And the man knew Eve his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, and said, I have gotten a man with God. And again she bore his brother Abel. And Abel was a keeper of sheep, and Cain was a tiller of the ground. And it came to pass after a time that Cain brought of the fruit of the ground an offering to God. And Abel, he also brought of the firstlings of his flock and of their fat. And God looked to Abel and to his offering, but to Cain and to his offering he did not look. And Cain was very wroth, and his face fell. And God said to Cain, Why are you wroth, and why is your face fallen? Shall it not, if you do well, be lifted up? And if you do not do well, at the door sin couches, and for you is its desire, and you must rule over it. And Cain said to Abel his brother, Let us go into the field. And it came to pass, when they were in the field, that Cain rose up against Abel his brother and slew him. And God said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? And he said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And he said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood cries out to me from the ground. And now cursed are you from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you till the ground, it shall not henceforth yield to you its strength. A fugitive and a wanderer shall you be on the earth. And Cain said to God, My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me out this day from the face of the ground, and from your face shall I be hidden. And I shall be a fugitive and a wanderer on the earth. And it will come to pass that whoever finds me will slay me. And God said to him, Therefore, whoever slays Cain, vengeance shall be taken on him sevenfold. And God set for Cain a sign, lest any finding him should smite him. And Cain went out from the presence of God, and dwelt in the land of Nod, east of Eden. And Cain knew his wife, and she conceived and bore Enoch. And he built a city, and called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. And to Enoch was born Irad. Irad or Irad. And Irad begat Mehujael, and Mehujael begat Methushael, and Methushael begat Lamech. And Lamech took to himself 2 wives. The name of the one was Ada, and the name of the other was Zillah. And Ada bore Jabal. He was the father of such as dwells in tents and have livestock. And his brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all such as handled harp and pipe. And Zillah also bore Tubal-Cain, the forger of every cutting instrument of bronze and iron. And the sister of Tubal-Cain was Naamah. And Lamech said to his wives, Ada and Zillah, hear my voice. You wives of Lamech, give ear to my speech. For a man I have slain for my wound, and a young man for my bruise. For sevenfold vengeance shall be taken for Cain, and for Lamech 70 and sevenfold. And Adam knew his wife again, and she bore a son, and called him Seth. For God has appointed me another seed instead of Abel, for Cain slew him. And to Seth, to him also there was born a son, and he called his name Enosh. The men began to call upon the name of God. This is the book of the generations of Adam. In the day that God created man, in the likeness of God he made him. Male and female he created them, and blessed them, and called their name Adam in the day when they were created. And Adam lived 130 years, and begot in his own likeness, after his image, and called his name Seth. And the days of Adam, after he begot Seth, were 800 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days that Adam lived were 930 years, and he died. And Seth lived 105 years, and begot Enosh. And Seth lived, after he begot Enosh, 807 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Seth were 912 years, and he died. And Enosh lived 90 years and begot Kenan. And Enosh lived after he begot Kenan 815 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enosh were 905 years, and he died. And Kenan lived 70 years and begot Mahalalel. And Kenan lived after he begot Mahalalel 840 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Kenan were 910 years, and he died. And Mahalalel lived 65 years, and begot Jared. And Mahalalel lived after he begot Jared 830 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Mahalalel were 895 years, and he died. And Jared lived 162 years, and begot Enoch. And Jared lived after he begot Enoch 800 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Jared were 962 years, and he died. And Enoch lived 65 years, and begot Methuselah. And Enoch walked with God after he begot Methuselah 300 years, and begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Enoch were 365 years. And Enoch walked with God, and he was not, for God took him. And Methuselah lived 187 years, and begot Lamech. And Methuselah lived after he begot Lamech 782 years, and begot sons and daughters. After all the days of Methuselah were 969 years, and he died. And Lamech lived 182 years, and he begot a son, and he called his name Noah, saying, This one shall bring us comfort from our work and from the pain of our hands, from the ground which God cursed. And Lamech lived, and he begot Noah 595 years, and he begot sons and daughters. And all the days of Lamech were 777 years, and he died. And Noah was 500 years old, and Noah begot Shem, Ham, and Japheth. It's page 23.
Pages.
I think God just told me. God just told me to stop reading the Bible today. God, I'm sick. Hold on. He ain't done with me yet. Oh! Oh! My friends, that's the end of page 23. The next reading, we'll pick it up on page 24 of my reading Bible. We're still in the book of Genesis. But something's come over me. And it's probably because last night I was out late drinking Red Horse, and I did drink a few beers on the hike up here. But from my recollection, Jesus did turn water into wine. He did not turn wine into water. But I think it's just it's un seño. It's a sign of God that, hey man, I've heard enough of your Bible reading today. You know, take your little butt back down the mountain and go hang out with Francis and check on our baby. So the next reading, we're going to pick up on page 24. Start talking about Noah. Of my reading Bible here. All right, folks, I want to thank you for joining me. Maybe this is not what you expected here on my channel, but it's what I wanted to do, and I had a great day. I had a great hike up this mountain with Fatima, and I want to thank her for being on the camera and on the audio. And it's just a beautiful day. And again, I'm going to put the link to this product down in the description. It's not an affiliate link. I'm not making any money off of it. But if you have anybody that is, religious, and you want to give them a great gift, this is like the one of the most recently updated reading versions of the Bible that you can actually understand and read it like a novel. And so I want to give a shout out to the folks who manufactured this, and it was a great purchase. I'll put the link down in the description, and I'm not making money off of that. I didn't ask their permission to do this reading, but when you're reading stuff from religion, I'm not asking anybody's permission. So buy their product and tell them Marco sent you. It's just a good quality. It's a good quality product. The text is where I can read it and actually read the Bible like it's a novel, instead of worrying about chapter numbers and verses and archaic language that basically nobody these days understands. I'll be doing these Bible readings from various places that I choose on Sundays with Fatima. And I hope the audio is okay. We busted out the big camera, hiked it up this mountain, and this gear is heavy. It ain't no joke. But anyhow, folks, join us on the next Bible reading. We'll pick up on page 24. We're still in Genesis, starting to talk about Noah. I'll see you on the next one, my friends. Thank you for joining us.